the heating. Hello and welcome to another Neimoidian video. Now, as you'll notice, I'm speaking quite a lot more quietly than I usually do. That's because this video isn't going to be a review or anything like that. This video is entirely for your pleasure because this is going to be an ASMR video. Now, for those of you who don't know, ASMR stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. It's characterised by a pleasant tingling sensation in the back of your head or elsewhere in your brain. Now, some people can pick it up quite easily and become intensely relaxed by it. Others, it's a bit more difficult to create a response like that, and sometimes it's due to the nature of what they're listening to, or simply because they're just less able to experience it. It's caused by certain noises like the crinkling of paper or plastic, often soft tapping noises, and often a whispering voice, especially a whispering female voice. Now, I've been told by a few people that I've got a very good voice, and a couple have actually said that I sound a bit like Emma Watson. Now, I've never thought I sounded like that, but I actually respond very well to ASMR, and if I've got a headache or if I'm having a bout of insomnia, I do suffer often from insomnia. I had it very badly last year, to the point where it was actually affecting my performance in university. But if I'm having a bout of insomnia, or if I have a headache, or if I just want to relax, I can put an ASMR video on YouTube, and 9 times out of 10 I respond very well to it. So I thought I would try my hand at it, given that I know of a lot of people who also respond well to it, and to see if my voice is indeed one of those voices that can do it. Now, I apologise in advance if I stop talking for a moment, because this does take a bit of a toll on your throat and I may have to take a drink. So I've got some water next to me, and I do apologise if I have to stop and drink a couple of times, like right now. So I thought I would do a slightly more unique ASMR. I'm currently in the quietest room in my flat, which unfortunately is the front room, so I do also apologise if you can hear any cars or rubbish bins or drunk students. We are in a high student density area. So, as I said, I'm going to try and do my own video using ASMR techniques on a few of my Neimoidian items, because I have tested a few of them and they do produce the kinds of noises that can tend to induce ASMR responses. So I'm going to go through a couple. I'm not really going to talk about the items that much. I might say a few words about Neimoidians in general for any non-Star Wars fans or anyone who doesn't know me personally, if this is their first time watching one of my videos. If you perhaps came looking for a unique ASMR experience. Now, as I said, this is my first time trying this, so please do be kind in your criticism if you have any. This may be the only video like this that I do, simply because I may run out of items and also because it may not necessarily go very well. But I wanted to give it a shot anyway and produce some ASMR for Star Wars fans. So, after one more drink of water, I'm going to go through a few of my items. Also, I'm not necessarily certain I have the kind of camera that will do this very well, so I do also apologise for that. So, the first item I've got here for your listening pleasure is my carded Runehako and Battle Droid figure. Now, this is a recent acquisition of mine. I got it at the start of this university year. I have the new gunray that goes with it. The thing I like about this is that it's in mint condition. There's no creases or tears or anything in the card. Now, for those of you who are just joining us, Neimoidians are a species of insectoid, reptilian humanoids in the Star Wars universe. They come from the planet Neimoidia. They have greenish grey skin, beautiful red eyes that often have golden bits in them, caused by an accumulation of iron in their systems. They were first seen in Episode 1 as the leaders of the Trade Federation, namely Newt Gunray and Runehako. This chap here was one in the Senate named Lockdart, a female pilot, Tehao, another male captain with blue robes, Dolte Dauphine, and several others, some of which were actually named recently. And I kid you not, for those who have just joining us, obviously I'm a huge Neimoidian fan, been in the community for quite some time. They actually named one after me. His name is Zil Karte. It's the greatest honour a Star Wars fan could possibly be given. And I have a huge amount of gratitude towards those who made it possible. I've been a fan of the Neimoidians in some ways since episode 1 came out. I was 8 years old. They've played a huge role in my Star Wars fan life since I was 13. When I was 18, I more or less became dedicated to them as a Star Wars fan. That was the year I started drawing and collecting, trying to put them in a better light for people. Because for those of you, again, who are just joining us, they weren't the most well received of Star Wars characters. And I think they're very unfairly treated in that respect. I think they're very misunderstood. So I try to put them in a more beautiful light through my art, my collecting. I really hope this is still going to be in mint condition after I do this for you. Right, I think he's seen enough action. I'm going to move on to another piece. Put him over there. Here we go. Now I do have a video about this piece. This is the De Agostini Newt Gunray chess piece. It's an unusual piece, somewhat rare. Just trying to hold him to get the best noise out of him. Sorry about this. I got it really nice a second ago. There we go. Now what I'm doing probably looks very, very weird to some people. But for those who understand ASMR, hopefully some of what I'm doing is triggering that response. These are the kinds of noises that when I'm watching an ASMR video, these are the kinds of noises that affect me the most. That and a light, dull, scraping noise. And if you are actually being affected by this, there's a few channels I can recommend for you to go and watch other videos like this. Oops, sorry, I keep hitting the camera. Just trying to find the microphone. There we go. Those channels are ASMR Requests, Unicorn's Whisper. I think she's actually Estonian too. She did a very nice video about learning the Estonian language, and that was very relaxing for me. And also Heather Feather. She has a very sweet voice, which affects me the most out of those three. She just seems to know how to make the right kinds of noises with the right kinds of objects. For you Halo and Mass Effect fans, she did a spacesuit cleaning roleplay, which was very relaxing. I listened to that a few times over Christmas to try and calm myself down before trying to study for exams. I do have, as some of you know, a few anxiety problems, which have flared up quite badly this past year. 2013 was not a very good year for me, and obviously exam season can aggravate that anxiety quite badly sometimes. So, if I need a bit of help relaxing, ASMR videos are perfect for that. Right, let's give this chap a break. Take a quick drink. Sorry about that, but as you can hear, it makes my voice a bit better after I've had a bit of water to moisten my throat a bit. So, what else have I got for you? Let's try one of these. This is a voice chip that came with the Runako figure, the standard figure. I've actually got him down here. I'm going to actually use him in a minute. Now, in America and the UK and certain parts of Europe, the figures were released with these chips instead of the battle droids. The chips are actually the more common thing for the figures to be released with. They released the figures with the battle droids in certain parts of the world because these chips actually talk with there's a special reader that you slide them across and it makes the chip talk. You can see there's a nub there that you can actually have your figures stand on the chip as a base, doubles as a base. Now the problem with that is that a lot of different languages on Earth, and it'd be very, very difficult to translate that into many different languages. So to compensate, they released the figures in certain parts of the world with battle droids instead of chips. Battle droid figures aren't that great, but if you're an army builder or even a customizer, it's good for building up your collection for dioramas and the like. Now, if this video does go well and it does produce an effect in some people, I will be more than happy to produce another one. You just have to tell me which sounds you like the best, and I'll try to produce another video just with those sounds. Now, everything I'm showing you here is part of my Neimoidian and Duros collection. For those of you joining us who aren't Star Wars fans, the Duros is another Star Wars species. They're actually the ancestors of the Neimoidians. They colonised the planet Neimoidia, and the descendants of those Duros who stayed behind became the Neimoidians. But whereas the Duros like to travel and be adventurous, the Neimoidians are a lot more reserved. They focus a lot more on wealth and possessions. They tend to be not as brave as the Duros either. deliberately avoiding the word cowardly. So I do collect them both. I got my first Neimoidian figure when I was living in Israel in 2005. It was the Revenge of the Sith Neimoidian warrior figure. And I started my collection, this sub-collection, in 2010 when I was living in Estonia, because I thought the collection would be small enough that I could take it anywhere with me. It's now spread out in 2 different countries, so I was clearly wrong on that front, but I love them. There are very few other collections like this, and if I can be probably a bit, I don't want to say elitist, a bit boastful, I reckon mine is probably the biggest. So I collected them just before I started university. And I'm still collecting them, although I'm starting to slow down a bit because I'm running out of items. Right, let's move on to another one. Let's see, let's have a Star Wars figure. This is my favourite Star Wars figure. This is Lot Dot, released in the 2002 Saga collection. See, now this kind of scraping noise I love. This is the kind of noise in videos that makes me the most relaxed. And for those of you who can experience ASMR, it's wonderful. It leaves you entirely relaxed. You almost go limp. Now, scientists actually aren't sure what causes this. I would like to offer my very, very unfounded opinion as a physics student undergraduate that maybe perhaps the frequency of the noises affects our brain in certain ways. Also maybe because they're on the whole different from the kinds of noises and sounds that we're used to hearing in a very loud world. Maybe it almost takes us back to our childhood when we were toddlers and babies, and our parents, those of us who had good parents, would whisper to us and talk quietly to us and sing to us, sing us to sleep, read us a bedtime story. Maybe it's sort of reminiscent of those days. And there's, of course, always the possibility that this is completely in our minds, that this isn't actually a phenomenon, and that perhaps we're making ourselves do this because it's what we expect. Now, I got this figure in 2006 when I was living in Colorado Springs. There was a store in a shopping mall near our house. Actually, it wasn't that close, to be honest. That sold nothing but Star Wars figures. And I went in that day with my allowance and I bought the 4 I liked the most, the 4 that I wanted the most that day. And I got Lottard, I got Gasgano, the pod racer. He's my favourite pod racer, and I apologise for the helicopter that's just going over. That's a rescue helicopter. I'm so sorry about this. Sorry, just trying to cover the microphone a bit there. That helicopter frequents my area quite often. It's a rescue helicopter though, so I'm not complaining, because if I ever need rescuing, then I will be very grateful if they send a rescue helicopter after me. So they're just trying to keep someone from dying or to keep the neighbourhood safe. So I'm not going to complain. I'm going to take a drink of water though. Anyway, I got this fit. Anyway, where did I leave off? I got Gasgano the pod racer. I got Captain Tarples. I got Elos Madak, the Duros, and Lottard. It's amazing because there are only 2 Neimoidian figures I can remember the exact day I got. One was my first Neimoidian figure back in Israel, and the other is this one. Lottard is my favourite Neimoidian and my favourite Star Wars character. So this is a very special figure to me, and he makes some nice ASMR noises. For all I know, I'm just giving my Neimoidians massages. Right, let's leave him there, because I talked about, it's my arm popping, because I talked about the voice chip. Is the figure that goes with it. It's the same figure that's in there, and this is Newt Gunray, of course. He also has his own chip. See, it has his picture on it. He's the Viceroy of the Trade. Well, he's the Viceroy of the Trade Federation. Now, the back of Rune's chip also says Viceroy, which is incorrect. Rune Hako is a settlement officer. He's a lawyer, basically. These are the figures that came with the chips. Whoops, sorry. These are 2 of my favourites. These 2 have been literally everywhere with me. I got them in Colorado. Came with me when I visited my dad in Italy when he was Consul General in Milan. Mind you, this was before I became Crazy Neimoidian Girl. So it goes to show you just how much these guys mean to me that I took them with me even then. Of course, they've been to Estonia. Came with me when I lived there. When I was packing up my Star Wars collection to leave Colorado, I only brought one small box full of my best Star Wars figures, and amazingly, every Neimoidian and Duros figure I had at the time made it in. Bring it a bit closer to the microphone for you. I'm sorry again if you can hear the cars outside. This is, as I said, the quietest room in my flat, but you do get some outside noise. course. He's been to the UK, where I live now. He might also have been to Hawaii at some point. My dad and I took a vacation there when I was 14. That was when I got him, and Newt, who I'll show you in a minute. And in those days, I took a very small bag of Star Wars figures with me. And it's very likely that if I did that going to Hawaii, then both Newt and Rune came as well. So, they've done a fair amount of travelling. They also technically entered Canada this month when I flew back from the US after Christmas. Oh, and of course they've been to California when I go to visit my grandparents, my maternal grandparents. My mother's American. So for you European and British listeners, I suppose British is European actually, if you can hear a slight twang of an American accent, one is just because I've been back from the US only about 2 weeks now, and two, because obviously I am half American. So hopefully this is working for some people. I'm sorry if my talking is kind of distracting from the noises. I'm trying to talk as slowly and softly as possible, leaving lots of gaps so you can enjoy the nice ASMR noises. I wonder if Neimoidians experience ASMR. I'd love to see their reactions. Don't know if there ever has been a relaxed Neimoidian. The poor darlings are so panicky. I'm trying to think of what else I can tell you while I do this. Just started my final term of uni yesterday. After this year, I will hopefully have a master's degree in physics, specialising in astrophysics. I don't know what I want to do with that yet. I don't even know if I'm going to stay in the UK. Sorry about the cut there. Just had a major coughing fit for whatever reason. I might have been doing this for too long. I don't know how people can do this for over an hour, although I'm over halfway there already. So let's give Newt a rest. And I found something slightly different. Hopefully you can hear this. This is the Plaster Mold. It's Maroon Hacker. I've got Newt as well. Newt Gunray. They came with a plaster moulding kit. Sorry you can't see this very well. I'll put him there so you can get an idea. Terribly sorry about that coughing fit. Well, I'll have cut it out by this point. So, you hopefully won't know if it was actually quite pathetic. you, but I rather like this sound. These guys were actually a European exclusive. Almost certainly won't find these in the US. You can kind of tell by my shadow, you can see I'm sort of squeezing it and manipulating it. It makes a very nice noise, I think. Beg your pardon, I had to drink some water. Oh, I hope I find a video with someone doing this. This is such a nice sound. Give Rune a break. The last one I'm going to show you. Oh, sorry, my throat is not happy tonight. My throat is not happy tonight, but I've been talking like this for too long. Terribly sorry about this. I'm hoping if it had any effect, it's still having one. I don't remember what I was talking about before I had that coughing fit. It's a funny story that goes with the piece I'm currently using. I'm not sure if I've actually posted the video yet, but I've got a video I did of this piece that tells the story. Basically, I accidentally poisoned myself, and while I was recovering, I bought this piece. So it kind of has that funny memory associated with it. Right. That's going to be it for now, I think. My battery is running low and my throat is not getting any better. I'm terribly sorry about that. But I do hope that you've enjoyed this, that maybe you felt something, and that when I'm not having a coughing fit, maybe I have one of those voices that can produce ASMR effects. So, do let me know how this sounded. I'm also, again, sorry for the background noises. The cars going by and the helicopter flying overhead. So, thank you very much for listening. I hope that maybe you're a bit more relaxed by this point. And if you liked any of the noises, I will happily make another video with less talking, fewer coughing fits, and more noises. So, thank you very much, and as always, may the Force and Neimoidians be with you.